Hi, this is Amy M. Burns from amymburns.com and author of the new publication, Using Technology with Elementary Music Approaches, published by Oxford University Press and available from Oxford and Amazon today. In today's episode, we are integrating social studies into the music curriculum and into our ever-changing teaching scenarios from remote to hybrid to in-person with restrictions, as well as synchronous and asynchronous. In this episode today, we talk about the study of your area that will be occurring probably in upper elementary social studies. For example, I'm from New Jersey, so it's the study of New Jersey. However, in the approach of bringing that into music, we are also going to be using play-along videos for assessment purposes and performance purposes. So stick around to see these two activities in action, from Seesaw to Google Slides, and how to create them. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as usually every week or every other week I'm putting out a new episode. Let's get started. So this week's activity comes from the study that's integrated with third grade social studies. In third grade social studies, the students study the state, where we are located is New Jersey, and they do a group research project on that. Then they branch off and they are given a state to research, and they use their skills that they were taught by researching New Jersey to research their own state. This is a wonderful unit that third grade does. And I have to tell you, even when the third graders are in 8th grade and they're graduating, they still remember the state they had and the research and the facts they learned. So I love integrating into the social studies curriculum in this way. When they study New Jersey, we study musical facts about New Jersey as well as New Jersey musicians. One of the musicians of many that we study is Bruce Springsteen. So what I'm going to show you today are two activities, one in Seesaw, one in Google Slides. Then I will show you how to create those activities in Seesaw and Google Slides. This is really meant for any teaching scenario, especially our ever-changing ones right now. So it could be done remote, it could be done in person with restrictions, it can be done with hybrid. By doing it this way, using these activities and using Google Slides to present on the musician, you are able to do this in ever-changing scenarios. So the first thing I do with this is I teach them about a musician. We might do like a brain dump or a circle map of what do you know about this musician. And usually with Bruce Springsteen being the example here, they would know a few things. Like they would know one of his songs, or maybe have heard one of his songs, or know that he's from New Jersey, or know that they might have seen him last week on TV. So we go through, as you can see in these slides, we're going through various parts. And I like these maps because these are what they were studying in their classroom. So they get to revisit and retrieve information they learned from their classroom and input it here into the music classroom. As we continue through, what I'm loving is that we go through Bruce's musical influences, and that's a variety of different musicians and different musical styles. And again, being very conscious and make sure that all students are represented. When we do study New Jersey musicians and we do study their influences, I do try to make sure there's a variety of styles, a variety of people that are represented. We go through his career here of albums, and then I show a live concert of his on YouTube, but obviously using SafeShare, and then just the resources that I used. Now, when we jump into Seesaw and Google Slides activities, this is meant so that when they do this, the activity is actually an assessment. What they will remember is the fun dance break of the activity and the play-along video. But what you are using it for is to assess rhythms patterns 1, 2, and 3. Because in this rhythm play-along, we are covering meter, repeat signs, rest, quarter notes, eighth notes, and accents. And this right here is one of the things I really try to strive assessing on, because students don't always count rests. They fly through rest, they acknowledge there's a rest there, but they won't actually count the 3 beats of rest for 3 actual beats. And so I want to assess on this. So when we come into this activity, regardless if you do this in class with restrictions or you're remote or it's hybrid, so you're leaving this for your hybrid students and you're doing this in class with students that are there, what they do is they can view the instructions here, they can play the instructions, or the instructions are right here on the first page. Jump to the tab, they hit record, they perform it. When done, hit the green check. What's going to happen next is it's going to turn that screen into a big play button, and we'll have a big play button right in the middle because technically they are screen recording. Now, I love this for so many reasons. One, they hit the microphone. They can draw on the screen if they need to use the drawing tools. You'll hear them go through the whole reflection and thought process of figuring this out and performing it. So I love that Seesaw has the screen recording tool built right in. When they hit the green check, it is done and it's here. Now that play button might cover up what to do next. So if it says go to the next page, but this link isn't coming up, they can literally just click the tab and they know to go to the next page. Again, they hit the record, the microphone, they perform, hit the green check, then go to the next page. If this is blocked, they know they can just go to the next page. Again, same thing, record, perform, hit the green check, and go to the next page. Now, what if they click the microphone, perform, and then click pause and go to the next page? That works just as well. But when you record over pages, what Seesaw is going to do when you finally click the green check is it's going to put a new slide in number 1, and it will be the movie of them going across the slides. That's fine. That's all good. There's no problem with that. I just had the directions so that they only recorded on their screen and then click the green check. So it didn't add an additional slide. But you can do that way if you want. You can totally readapt this. Copy and edit and readapt. When they get to slide 5 here, that's a dance break. This is really just fun for them. And then when they get to 6, the play along video is embedded right here in Seesaw. They don't have to click out and go into YouTube or SafeShare or anything like that. It's right here. They click play and they play along. Now, they will not be able to record themselves. Once they click play, you know right now currently if you hit the microphone, it's going to state they can't record. So this really isn't part of the assessment. This is just fun for them. The assessment are in slides 2, 3, and 4. Now, how did I make this? Again, going back to Chris Shiner's ideas. This here, these are tabs, and they're just made with the shapes tool. So we go to the shapes, I grab this, and that's how I made it to look like a sticky note. That's really what I was going for, was the sticky note. I then went in and put in text, and then just made the text go so it could be on that vertically, and then I just made sure to link this by hitting the 3 buttons, link, and link it over to page 2, or you could say next page. So that is how I did that. And again, that comes from Chris Shiner. So each page, this time I didn't actually put the links. Sometimes I put the tabs here so that they can always go between pages. But here I just said go to the next page. This one brings them back to the front because that's the stand. And basically that's how I made this. People ask, how did you get the icons in there? Those are just emojis. And again, that's Control Command Spacebar on a Mac. It'll bring up the emoji keyboard. My 4th graders know some website that brings up all the emojis, and they use that when they're working. Now, the video. How did you create this video? So next week's episode will show you like using a YouTube lyric video, but this week, to just make sure I was kind of being a little bit more conscious of copyright, I purchased the sheet music and played it into Note Flight. So that's what this is here. Then I just added the snare drum that you constantly hear on 2 and 4. So in Note Flight, I exported this as an MP3 and I put it over into Soundtrap. Here is the MP3. So I only had that 2 and 4 drum. So when I went through here, I went into rock and drums, and looked for things. Now, I love that Soundtrap will actually tell you, here's some top picks for your project. And my fourth graders loved this week because they were working on their own compositions in Noteflight and then in Soundtrap, and they loved that it had suggestions. As I was working on this, I was looking for fills so I could just put that in and take out. It's great. It filters out what I need, and I love that. I was going through this. Now, it was recorded at 120 and came in here as 120, so I didn't have any hiccups because of that. And then you can see I just added the guitar, and the power guitar was perfect, and I told it I'm only in major scale, and then I could find the power guitar in the key of B. So you can see this. And went to transpose and changed it to B major, which is what it was written in. So that's how I made the sound file. Now to make the slides that you see, let me go back into Seesaw. These slides, I made these in Canva. And if you are an educator and you haven't signed up for the free educator account, which gives you a lot more than just saying you're, a free account, do it. Use your educator's email address and sign up, because when you do, you get some great educational graphics, like graphics you can use for educational use. So that's what I did here. All these backgrounds, I just said I wanted pictures of stages, and there's so much there that it was perfect. And then for the notation, I went to midnightmusic.com.au, Katie Wardrobe's site. I do disclose I work for her in her community. However, for these notation with the transparent backgrounds, that's free. Just go into midnightmusic.com.au and just put in free notation graphics. And she gives you them in big and small and transparent backgrounds and PNG files, so they're higher resolution. So I put all of that into Canva and then just downloaded it as PNGs, and now I had these to make. And so I could put them in Keynote, I could put them in PowerPoint, and then add this as the soundtrack, and then just click the slide down. Because you'll notice I did not put a conductor in this. There's no conductor. It just puts up the slide, and then right before, about 2 beats before, the little curtain will go away and it will show you the next slide coming up. So that's all I did on this one. This is one of more the easier ones. There's no bouncing ball. I know that's kind of a bummer, but it was a little faster to make this way. That is the Seesaw. Now over in Google Slides. Here, if I'm going to share this out with my third graders, I could put this on Google Classroom and force a copy. So again, it's going into that share tool. Make sure that you are putting your shares up there and force a copy into Google Slides, or do a publish to the web. Notice I say put in present mode. There's another way to get around that. You could publish to the web and then publish it, and then once I have that published, here it is. I'm going to copy that, and when I go over here, I can put this link in their Google Classroom, and they can play along, and they can't edit out the file. So this is great. It puts it in present mode, and we love this. Now, if you want them, I just noticed this did not come out in publish mode, so I'll have to fix that. But if you want them to go here, right, and record themselves, it doesn't have that great Seesaw feature of a microphone. So here they would have to screen record. How do you screen record? Screencastify, Screencast-O-Matic, Loom. My third graders know how to use Screencastify because in their Learning and Design course they were taught. So that's really, really helpful. So again, you can publish to the web. That's what I did here. And when I published to the web, it came out over here. Unfortunately, the only thing it didn't come out were the emojis. Another way around this is go into your sharing. Make sure this is shared so that everyone who has the link will be able to use it. Okay. I'm going to copy that link, and this time go over here and take out edit and put in present. And if the menu is bothering you, you know that little trick. It is RM equals minimal. So you put in, there you go, you put in present question mark RM equals minimal. When you do that, it's going to put it in present mode, and it's going to take out that little menu that is in the way. Yeah, See how nice that is? Still will not transfer those little icons, so I'm going to have to put in pictures of them. And there you go. And again, use a screen recording tool, and it works. When you get to the perform, here, it has taken the YouTube video. Yep. And you can play along. So it's embedded it right here. And that's in there just by going over to the URL and putting it right there into YouTube, into Google Slides from YouTube. So that's a way you can share it. Now creating this in Google Slides, not too different than Seesaw. I brought in all these as backgrounds this time. So when I took them out of Canva, and if you missed that, if you decided to jump ahead, I created these in Canva using the free educator's account. Again, use your email, your educator's email address, and you get great graphics you can use for educational use. So I used that in Canva. And then I just exported them as PNGs, and I did background. So I added that in as a background file. When I did that, these are no longer, you can't move them. That's great, right? The only movable things here are the stand and this right here. Now, to make sure that I have this going to the final slide, what we do is I grab... Yeah, there we go. I grab the tab and put in the link, grabbing the link right here and making sure it goes right to slide 6. So you click on this, and if I X this out, you'll see it, and go into slides and presentation. This happens a lot when it's on the bottom of the page, so just use your down arrow and you'll get there. Slide 6 and apply. And now when you hit slide 6, it will go down to slide 6. So that's how I created that. How did I make those little post-it notes? Again, I was just using the shape tool, and the text tool puts it in there. How did I get this little metronome to say put in present mode? That is, again, just going into searching the web right here and just putting it in there. And that's how I found the metronome with a transparent background. So those are ways to make these Seesaw and Google Slides activities using a play-along video, and again, using Noteflight to make the play-along and Soundtrap. Next week's episode is going to take out Noteflight and Soundtrap and make it a little bit easier in just searching out a video to be able to add the play-along on top of the video. So that's next week. Again, subscribe, click like, and I hope you enjoy this, to go ahead and take those activities and readapt them, and come find my book, Using Technology with Elementary Music Approaches, and learn more about all of this and have access to lessons and the supplemental website. Have a great week.